Hey guys, Steve from PC Budget Solutions here, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. And a new series I'm starting. This is episode 1 of what's going on in a workshop. So, I gave you guys a little bit of a tour on Facebook, maybe about a month ago, about the 12 by 15 room that I work out of in the corner of my house that I own. And what I want to show you guys today is, being a tech YouTuber is fun. The bad part is I don't have any sponsors and I'm still small. I don't get anything donated to me, and contrary to popular belief, YouTube does not really pay much. Even if I was as big as like Linus Tech Tips, that wouldn't even net me enough off the ad revenue. Well, maybe it would, but the ad revenue just isn't there. You get a lot more from other things. So, what I want to show you guys today is on my days off, I'm usually shooting YouTube, doing chores, trying to get the house caught up if my anything my fiance couldn't do during the week. And then I'm working on computers, which you guys are probably like, oh, I love working on computers. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, but I don't have a lot of extra time outside of everything else, so I don't have a lot of time to spend on doing this stuff. I've put these projects off for 2 or 3 weeks now. So what I have in front of me today is this computer, which is a computer I took on partial trade. I gave about $400 for. And this computer, which is part of my $300 gaming series, which is still a hot mess. And I'm going to be flipping them because some of the components in that are better. So I want to get the most value I can on the higher end, but I need to recover the money because all this stuff I have here, my Ryzen builds, the Ryzen build that I'm selling, all that came out of my pocket, so I need to recover some money. So let's take the journey. Let's take a look at what my days off look like when I'm just working on stuff behind the scenes. So first things first is I want to tear apart this computer because honestly, it's a hot mess. I told you guys I had to replace the cooler, and I had to do a lot of stuff. I still have to get the I/O shield, and I have it in a box here. But let's go ahead and pop out the graphics card here. Assuming that it wants to pop out. It's a push down. My bad. Ooh, that's a tight fit. Oh God, I hope I didn't just break something. And there you go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just unplug everything. I'm actually going to keep the power supply in here. Apparently, he also has an add-in card, which I need to take out as well. But I'll show you what I'm doing here. So you guys can see. I didn't mind this computer is a hot mess. I told him that. I said, don't worry about it. I just wanted it for the series. So don't say my cable management was garbage because I had nothing to do with this cable management. I just got a really good deal on everything, so I'm cool with that. And he did zip tie everything to the back. Plug the SSD real quick. Which is great, but when your cable management skills are not on point, it's just more of a pain in the butt more than anything else. And this SATA cable's broken, which is not fun. Let me get that off and we'll be back in a second. Now that I got that SATA cable out, let's go ahead and get the 24 pin, the 4 pin, and then let's get this add-in card out real quick. This is a Wi-Fi card, I'm honestly going to keep because every now and then people ask for something like this, and honestly, I don't keep these. Of course, it's broken off, which is lovely. Got to figure out which band's which, I guess. Now that's pretty much stripped out. I have a hard drive to take out, which I don't know how that's bolted in there. I'll take a look at that in a second. Let's go ahead and pull the board out next. Now that everything's unplugged, we're going to go ahead and grab the board out here. Looks to be a handful of standard screws here, which is nice. Looks like this case uses the same screw across the whole case here, actually, which is definitely not a bad thing. And again, if you're going to not be in a static-free environment, make sure you're always having one hand near the case. Absolutely do not want to discharge on the motherboard while you're taking it out, because that leads to a motherboard that no longer works, and that's a pain. That's usually the hardest thing to replace, especially if you have an older board. I went ahead and bought a broken motherboard just to get the I/O shield so I can sell this thing. I asked guy who came with me, he said, yeah, so that's all I need. So I'm shipping the whole thing. I said, okay, whatever, I'm not going to use the rest. So that last one, yep. Okay, so just be very careful when you lift this. Looks like there's actually a lip on the case. There we go. Board's out. That was quick. Screw fell, but I expected that. So this is the other build here. So this has an i3 in it, which is why I'm switching over, because that has an i5. In this case, obviously, this is NZXT S340, so it's obviously a fair bit nicer case, even though it has a little scratch on it. I used some Sharpie to clean it up a little bit. So I'm just taking out the screws to the GPU. I'm going to reuse this 770. I also have a 670 I'm going to be using. Actually, I might use the HD 7850. I'll give them an option because the 670 and the 7850 are very close to each other in performance. So I might just keep that in there. But video card's out. It's funny, micro ATX case in a case like this, or micro ATX board in a case like this always looks kind of funny. But cable management's easy. Oh, that was a front panel connection. I didn't know they were there. So that's all that, and then let's take the board out. Okay. Try to see which hard drives I have in these. I think I have a 500 in this one, I want to say. That sounds about right to me. And then the other one's a 1 terabyte WD black, so I remember this build. This actually originally went in a micro ATX case, which is why I'm glad I'm getting a full ATX board in here for sale, because it's that nice window and everything like that. You can see everything. I actually didn't take out that last screw just because it was going to be with the board. So let's finish this up, and we'll start reconstructing the next one. I already popped out the I/O shield here. Next, I'm going to take out the SSD because the other SSD is larger. So good news is I'm not going to have to reload these because I'm transplanting the SSD with it. So I actually only have, I only have one screw on here. Whoops. I'll put a second one. I usually put 2 screws in an SSD mount. You don't really need 4. It's just, it's not going to move. So I'm not really concerned about that. I've shipped them with only 2. So I have it separated now. I'll keep that over here. And then taking out the thumb screws in the back half here. I'll go ahead and flip this around so you guys can see. The hard drive's down in here. Now my rear cable management's pretty bad, so you know, don't kill me on that. I want to say this is screwed in behind the filter, I want to say. Yes, it is. So I took off the front panel, and there's actually a filter I took off as well, and it's screwed in right here. It's only screwed in from one side from my understanding. So keep all these screws together for the case. Like I said, I don't even remember what I put in here. So this is my fiance's old case. 500. Yeah, 500 gigs. So that's definitely going to stick with this system. So this case is deconstructed. I mean, I could deconstruct it more, but I'm going to probably keep it very similar. So I don't really need to take anything else apart at this point. So let's start getting the other system installed. First things first, actually what I want to do here is I'm going to install this hard drive first. It's actually the last thing I took out, but I'm going to make it the first thing that I actually put in here. So put this in the top rail, pull it back a little bit. There we go. So what's cool is whenever it lines up right, yep, there we go. I can actually put the 3 screws in if I really want to. So I'm going to start these with my hands. I'll screw them down in a minute here. If you were shipping this, I would probably say it wouldn't be a bad idea to put a 3rd screw in there, because I've noticed screws become very, very, very loose during shipping. So, alright. That's good. So that's in. Got the I/O shield out from the box there. The guy said the PCI Express slot doesn't work, so don't really care. Not using the board. I just want an I/O shield. These are always fun to install here, especially if they've been taken out and put in a couple times. And if the case is older, and there's a lot of factors if these things want to go in. There we go. Hey, we're in. Okay, so it's never a bad idea to grab a motherboard by the heatsink, especially if you're confident with how well you installed it, because that's going to be the strongest point that you have. Now, here's the only downside with doing it this way, the way I'm doing it, and I'll see if I can turn this with you guys a better view, possibly. Nope. Okay, I did have the best view for you guys. So just be careful, don't ruin any cables. But I have to get some of these cables out of the way in order to install this. So I'm going to hide this 24 pin this way. That's good. Why is this? Oh, it's just under it. Okay, so get everything out of the way. And then take a look to see. Yeah, I'm going to have actually just one, it looks like, to move here. Yay. Alright, let's go ahead and grab the tools to move the I/O shield. I'll be back. So I have some of the standoff screwed down right now. It turns out one of these screws, at least one of them, was not the right size. So we're going to play a game of, can we get the right size screw for the standoffs? It's a long and tedious task. I could have sworn that they were all the exact same size. And that screw went through the hole. So let's try this one again. This is where I really miss my magnetized screwdriver. Well, actually, it was this screwdriver, it was just magnetized. Okay, so that one's down. I want to say it was this one that was acting up here, so we'll take a look to see if it wants to agree with us this time. Looks like it is. And last one. We're in. So there we go. That's all done. Let's go ahead and I'll grab the SSD mount now here. I don't know how I said I was going to put a second screw in it. I don't have a second screw right here, so I'm going to need to go grab one. Found a second screw, so as promised, I'm going to put a second screw in here. I was almost contemplating only using one again, but I don't want to lie to you guys, so. So we'll get this bad boy screwed down here. That part's done. Let stand her up. Slide her in there. Thumb screw for placement. And we are good to go. Actually, I don't want to use that thumb screw. That is for a graphics card. This one is attached shorter for the SSD. Good. At this point, I guess let me wire up the CPU before I forget and start plugging everything else in. I'll go move this upload so you can see what I'm doing. So the CPU plug is right here. So I'm going to take a look here. Okay, it needs to go up vertical. So I could probably turn it sideways and let me move this up just a little bit more so you guys can see. So the notch is this way, so I'm just going to try to flip this thing sideways and plug her in, which with a heat sink in the way is not an easy task. looking through the vents here. Oh, got it. And I didn't cut my hand too bad, so we're good. Let's plug in these fans real quick. So we should have, I think, only 2. The rest are Mollexed. Okay, and then let's fire in our graphics card here. I'll make sure that these don't interfere with it. I'm going to move the 24 pin out of the way. Okay, so before I go break something here, let me show you guys what we're running into. So, PCI Express bracket's 1 further down. I'm going to slot this PCI Express bracket up 2 slots. That way the graphics card will fit. Let's see what I'm doing here without standing on the graphics card. There we go. So now we're in. Again, put this graphics card in, put the 24 pin up. So now we're in there. So I've finally found a screw. I literally had to pick the computer case up and shake it here, as I'm about to lose it again. I'm going to go ahead and drive this in with a screwdriver. So now that's in. I just realized something. Stupid me. But the exact same SSD that was in there. So let's get the 240 gig that I got instead. So you guys will notice the SSD is different. Yeah, I put the wrong one back in. I feel kind of dumb about that. But let's go ahead and hook up our graphics card. Make sure that's in. Make sure that's in. Let's pull our 24 pin out here. Let's get that plugged in. And then what I'm going to do, because some of you may have probably realized that this can't hang here, so I'm probably going to tie that up with this. That way that doesn't happen. Pull that up a little bit. Now let's just start doing some panel connectors. Okay, so you didn't see me plug the front panel connectors in because I don't think you guys wanted to see the amount of annoyance that was. At this point, I'm just going to tie down a couple things, and we're going to go ahead and start on the next one. Let's go get this I/O shield installed here. Actually, I should probably do a front-on view instead. View where you guys can actually see it. I have it going upside down. Shocker there. About as good as it's going to get to be put in there. Let's go ahead and look at the layout for our motherboard. And it looks like we need to move one of the, yes, looks like it's going to be one here. Yep. So we'll grab my tool here. I'll probably take out the spares here in a second just to be sure. This one goes up here. Just to be sure that like it doesn't get in the way later. So I'll take this one out. Take this one out. Also, I can always use more of these in the future. There's no reason to keep them in. Plus, if the end user ever needs them, he can always go on eBay and buy them. They're dirt cheap. Okay, let's get all this stuff out of the way. Let's go ahead and make sure she lines up correctly. Yes, we are running into a weird issue here. I did not expect this to be an issue. This top fan needs to come out. So somehow, some way, this top fan is interfering with the RAM clips. So let's go take care of that. Problem solved. We move the fan to the back. So let's go ahead and get our motherboard in here. Actually, I have it right here. Just want to make sure the wires. Okay, we are good to go here. Go ahead and make sure she matches up. It looks like she does, which is definitely not a bad thing. Let me get this fan wire out of the way here. It's not lined up, and this is only requires 6 total screws. So I should have enough left over. Put that one in. Let's do the top corner here. Kind of do almost like a cross pattern like you do with a heat sink. That way she's fitting okay. Oh, rogue SATA cable. I want to get plugged in already, but it's not time yet, unfortunately. Okay. Just a couple more here. 3 more to be exact. I'll be honest, I like working with micro ATX boards just because they're easy to work with. Does this even have another fan header? It has one. We'll figure out what we want to do with that when the time comes. Probably require a splitter or Molex adapter. I'll see what he has on here. I think he has 1 fan in the front is what came with it, so we'll have 2 total. Oop. Put in the hole and then get her screwed down. These wires are going to be fun to deal with, but we'll, again, cross that bridge when the time comes. Looks like there's nothing up at the top here. When I look up back here, there's nothing. So I'm going to use this opportunity to get the 4-pin in. This looks to have probably a 4 and an 8. I mean, I only need the 4, so it's not a big deal. So we'll go sideways. So we'll tuck that back here for when we put the graphics card in. Let's, what do we want to do next? Let's start getting hard drives mounted. So we've got a big rat's nest back here, but let's go ahead and proceed. Okay, I'm confused here. There we go. So I got one on. I'm just going to put this in the top slot because I think that's relatively, wow, that's dusty. I'm going to have to blow this one out at some point here before I sell it to somebody. Man, yeah, we're going to have to get some compressed air for that. Now the second one, I'm going to have to go ahead and grab a mount. So, there's actually mounting for an SSD here. So, let's go ahead and get this guy in. Let's get 1 or 2, preferably 2 screws if I can. And then, oh, that's not the kind of screw I need. This is the kind of screw I need. So let's go ahead and get one of these screws in. I'll work on getting a second here in a second. Definitely an easy way of doing it if I'm trying to do it on camera. So. Okay, perfect. Now the reason I screwed it all the way in was to hold it there until I find another screw. Normally I would just, screw it in part of the way there. And just like the case of the other computer, I'm just using 2 screws. That's all you really need for a solid state drive. Perfect. So part of the issue with buying used, as I've alluded to earlier, is you have to have parts. So for example, this is USB 3. This board doesn't have USB 3. So I have plenty of these adapters I have off eBay some time ago. That way, when I wire this up here, I'll be able to plug it into a USB 2 port. So, if you were to buy a bunch of stuff used separate, you'll have, maybe some compatibility issues with that. So right now I'm wiring up the panels because when I did this last time, it seemed to have been a bit annoying. So let's go ahead and slide this up behind the power supply here. That way we can actually reach it. Oh wow, that's a tight reach there. Okay, good there. I did find a splitter. I'm using Molex for this. Just because, well, it'll make life easier. Using a Molex splitter versus tying one to the board. So I'll just wire this up around, out the back here. Not sure if you guys can see it. I just kind of wired it there. I'll leave it there for now. Let's get these front panels connected up. Okay, so I actually opened up a new package with SATA cables because those were, they're really worn. So I figured you'd probably better just get brand new SATA cables for the most part. This one was okay, so I was okay with that. And then plug this one in. That's there. I'll just wire. Let's wire this under here. So I was getting caught on some cables. So we definitely want to put the SSD in USB 1 if we can. Oh. Apparently I have a spare cable. Whoops. There we go. Problem solved. So we'll go ahead and wire these. Here. Fine. That's why I can turn the whole unit and show you guys what I'm working on. So this one is the SSD, so we're looking for, if they're labeled, say the 1 through 4, which they are. The hard drive is going to go in SATA 3, and disk drive goes into SATA 2. I do that, I like that be default order, so let's go ahead and wire this out through the bottom and come back in through here. Get this guy hooked up. So we need to tie this down somehow. Oh, I know. I have cable ties. That way, we'll have to worry about that interfering. So, let's not leave that in there. There we go. Okay, so now we should probably, let's finish wiring it and then we'll get the graphics card in next. But let's untangle these SATAs here. He has these all wired tied together. Ugh. Yes, I think there's a such thing as tuning wiring ties. And I'm experiencing it right now. So you plugged in. Actually, I should plug this one in down here at the bottom. I'll show you guys what I did in a second, but there. So what I did was I put the straight edge SATA in down here and then ran the one that bends up there, and then I'll run this up through here. So you're in, and then untangle this. Do what he did down here, which is run this through here. That's just to get them out of the way. And picked up Molex. So I'll be honest, this Antec 1 case he used, I don't know how old it is or how long this case series has been out, but it's not really, it's an okay case. I'm not necessarily a big fan of it, but alright, let's spin around. We're going to put despite being really dusty, I'll clean it up later, the HD 7850 back in here, just because that's what was in here originally. And then we should have 2 6-pins. This power supply is definitely on the older side. Having an actual 6-pin instead of a 2+ or 6+2, you do not see that often anymore. And I don't know what I did with the screws, so I'm going to grab 2 new screws. Wherever they are hiding. There we go. Let's go ahead and get this power supply bolted down here. So this wasn't the $300 build, this was part of the $300 build. We'll take a look at how bad this cabling is down here, because it doesn't look that good from this angle. I mean, it's not as bad as what he had it, but I don't really think there's a lot I could probably do to clean it up. I mean, I could probably route some things over there, but she's done. She's ready to go. Let's fire them up. So everything is up and running, sort of. This one, out of nowhere, is starting to boot loop on me at the BIOS. So I'm going to try the other board, which is supposedly not working. I doubt it. I'm going to have to buy a Z77 board of some sort and get that thing sold. But the i3 system's up and running, so that'll be for sale pretty soon. But this is some of the stuff I deal with on an everyday basis. I started doing some base troubleshooting on that for about a half hour before I shot the last closing segment here. Not the memory, not the power supply, so it's probably the board. So we'll take a little more look into that. But thank you guys for tuning in to the very first episode of What's Going On in the Workshop. Like this video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, that's fine. Definitely give me a thumbs down. I won't continue the series if you don't like it. And let's have a discussion. Let's talk about your tech days and what you guys work with. Some of the things here are newer, so I'll leave something with Amazon links for you guys to purchase if you want to buy anything you saw in this video. And other than that, that's it. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Steve from PC Budget Solutions. I'll see you guys later on down the road.